On 3rd of June 2020, Notion Australia held their first event. They kindly invited me to show how I manage tasks in Notion. The event was a recorded webinar. This video is a lightly edited version of the webinar. You'll see a sanitized version of my setup based on August Bradley's Pillars, Pipelines, and Vaults methodology. Enjoy!
Live. Can everybody see us, hear us?
Yes, we are live. Hi, everyone.
Netherlands, wow.
It's nice.
12 p.m. Well, that's a good time.
So we've got someone from India, and it's missed in the middle of a cyclone. That's thrilling. Hope you are safe.
So, firstly, everyone, I tend to talk fast when I get really excited or like my brain just moves so much faster. So if I'm like going, please, no, you can tell me to slow down, no offense taken. So firstly, my setup will be based on August Bradley. If anybody has seen his videos, everything, you'll notice that what I'm saying is very, very familiar. So thanks to August Bradley for that inspiration. Also thanks to another Notion Pro called Rui Qing. She enrolled in her Notion master course, and she has taught me so much about Notion. And she has also taught me practically the whole Notion community. Thanks to Tim and Lennon for having me here today. It's been really fun working with all of you, and I hope we can continue. Hint, hint. Okay, moving on. So a little bit about myself. Oops. Your parents are tuning in, by the way. Hi. So I'm not living with my parents. That's why I can say hi to them from here. In Singapore, we've been at home for I think a month. Or is it more than a month? So yeah, I haven't seen them for a while. So anyway, my full name is Rui Qing, pronounced Rui Qing. I'm a Notion Pro. I'm one of 3 Notion Pros in Singapore and the only female. I also happen to be the organizer for Notion Singapore. So I'm married with a cat, unlike Tim, who has 4 kids. Oh my God. And also, I run bespoke Notion workshops for little kids and big kids. You can find more about that in the URL at the bottom right. And why I do this is because I believe that happiness is equals to being organized, productive, and sustainable. By sustainable, I mean that it's not like in order to complete our daily tasks, we work until 10 p.m. every day, which I've seen a lot of my friends do. So I feel that's not very sustainable. So let's move on. Okay, let's start. So I'm going to be talking quite a bit about systems thinking because that forms the basis of my system. Just let me pull up my... All right, and disclaimer, I'm going to make some very bold, yet simplistic, and maybe unpopular statements. But due to our time constraints, the nuance behind these statements can't be conveyed. But I'm happy to continue the conversation in other channels or in future meetups. So if you want to make a meaningful change in your life, redesign your system. And don't worry, this is an iterative process. There are no miracles. So systems thinking is a recognition that all systems are part of a larger systems. And every system is defined by its function in the larger system. So an example is that you're at work, you do projects, and these projects will likely fit into the bigger picture of the goals of the company. Now, everything in this system is interconnected and interacting with each other. Now, through this interaction, something new will emerge. And we want to design a system to encourage
So here
emergence.
with me, we have Tim, and then we have Rui Qing from Singapore, and Tim,
for example,
I think Tim
designing
is
an
currently in
office to
Geelong,
encourage random encounters with colleagues, which will lead to an emergence of new ideas. And these new ideas are what
I thought I was gonna do some slides before it starts, and I was like, maybe I just should try using Notion as a presentation tool.
And analyzing
let's
data.
try it for
And I'm no
spin.
different. I collect my own data.
So at the bottom
for
of
example,
the
I
screen,
check
you'll
my
see
daily
a poll
happiness as well
that's
as
kind of asking
effectiveness.
everyone
And why do I do
what's your
that?
experience
It's
with
because the
Notion,
system
feel
that
free
I've
to do a
designed
poll there.
serves as a
Continue to let
feedback
us
loop.
know
Feedback loops
where
are
you are
important
and what
for
time
me
is
to
it for you now.
balance
It's
or
fascinating for us to
reinforce
know.
my chosen habits.
Before we
So
get
systems
started, I want to do a
thinking
little
is
bit of
a
acknowledgement.
philosophy. It's not about
I want to
evaluating
acknowledge our
different
current
systems,
global
whether it's good or
context
bad,
with the
or
pandemic
creativity.
and what has been
What's
happening in the
important is that
States
you
and
create
around the
your
world.
system
We are here
that
to support each
emphasizes
other, not
what
only
you
in the Notion
prioritize
community, but
and
also
what
the
you
global
value
one.
most.
As this context continues to evolve,
So
we have
here
an
is
opportunity to
a
empower each other, develop shared
so here
resilience,
is the
and work
PPV
creatively
method,
so we can rise to the
or
new
rather
challenges.
PPV methodology, however you want to call it, or PPV
Nice,
system,
Lane.
sorry,
Thanks.
structured.
Cool.
Introduced by
Some
August
housekeeping
Ferry.
things.
PPV
So
means
follow the
pillars,
instruction on the right-hand
pipelines,
side of
and
your
vaults.
screen.
You'll
Say
notice that
something
the
nice in
vault
chat.
is not
We'll keep
shown in this
monitoring
diagram. This is
that.
just merely one
I'll
part
be your
of my
host
setup.
tonight, so I'll be looking at
Okay,
this
so on the
and
left
looking
side,
at the
you'll see
question
it's
section.
like
So
like a
use
pipeline
ask a
pyramid.
question
So
whenever
remember that
you
pyramid,
do
and now let's look on
answers.
the right side.
For example,
So at the
you're
top
not
of the
sure what's
pyramid,
happening
we have
or
the
there's a
guiding
specific trick you want
principles.
to learn.
So the guiding
I'll
principles will
keep
be where you
monitoring
would
that and
put
try to answer
your
as many questions
values,
as
your
possible in the
motivation,
Q&A.
your purpose, etc. And it forms
I've,
like a North
I've put
Star
this
for
takeaway
you.
links in this green
And
button,
below
which
the
I
guiding
can't really see at the
principles is
moment. I think
supported
other
by
people can
the
see it.
pillars. So examples of
We've
pillars
prepared
are
a Notion
family,
page. It has some
learning, health and
recommendation from
fitness,
Tim and Rui
etc.
Qing. And then some
Now
little
below that
surprises in there
are
as well.
value
So check it
goals,
out
goal
and
outcomes,
take it away.
projects,
And
and
it's okay
lastly,
to take a
the
toilet break
executables,
or
which are
take a
the
phone call.
tasks.
We are not your boss.
So get that? I mean, we're kind of all on the same page. Okay, so now
Cool.
let's go into
so today's
my Notion
agenda,
workspace.
we're currently doing a warm-up. I think it will be shorter than that, actually. So we'll start around 8:10. And then the first 20 minutes,
Sorry,
Tim
guys,
will
just give me a
show us
moment.
his setup. And then there will be a 10 minutes Q&A. And from 8:40, 20 minutes, we'll hear some sharing from Rui Qing. And then 9 p.m. onwards,
Okay,
we'll do another Q&A for 10
so
minutes. And if there are other questions, we might stay online a little bit. We'll definitely not
guys,
go over
I
than
have a
9:20.
problem. My screen just went black.
Look
I'm
in the
gonna
brightness
A
listen
little
tab.
to
bit what to expect today. So both Tim and Rui Qing are Notion
no,
pros.
it's
We're really in good hands. They're gonna show us
why?
some power
There you
moves
go.
in Notion, and
Okay,
I'm
yeah,
really
you're right.
excited about that. And everything today is about Notion and task management. If you are familiar with either one of them, or both of them, or none of them, they're equally good.
Okay, so
and
we'll
then
start
welcome here
in-
again. You might hear some jargons like GTD,
Okay, so bear in mind that this is a
and
duplicate
famous Notion lover August Bradley or Marie
sanitized
Pauling.
version of
If you're not
my
familiar
normal
with those
space, because,
names or jargons,
somebody
it's
asked
okay.
just now
I don't
that
really
whether
know
we
some
store
of
any
these
confidential
jargons as well, and I'm here to
information.
learn, so I'm
Yes, I
super
do,
excited.
and therefore,
And
instead of sanitizing
the last
information,
thing
I just
today
read
is we're going
everything
to show
out
you
and
how
then
powerful
deleted
can Notion
the
be
more
today.
confidential.
So it might
Okay,
be a little bit
so
advanced
unlike
for
Tim,
some
I have
beginner
multiple dashboards,
lover.
and I'll
Could be a little
focus
bit
on 3
overwhelming. Take
dashboards
a
today
breath.
because we're
Take a
focusing
break if
on
you need,
tasks today.
and make sure you ask
And
people
we'll start off
questions
with the first one.
using the question channel. And we'll show to
So
answer
this is
your
the command
questions in the
center.
Q&A
As you can see,
the
it's not
Q&A
fully
session.
fleshed out.
A little bit about Notion
workspace is a
Australia.
work in
So
progress.
it's me and Tim
So this
teaming
is,
it up.
and this is the
And
one
we
that
literally just set
you
up the
kind of
events 2
blend
weeks ago, and
into,
here we are. So it's
at the
super
beginning.
great, I
I
think.
don't really use this much.
We both love Notion,
So let's move on
and
to the
also
next
Rui
one.
Qing loves Notion, and that's
So
why
this is the
she's so
alignment zone.
passionate
You'll
joining us
notice
from
in the
Singapore
alignment
today.
zone,
And for
it
the
has
first
things
event,
that were
that's really
mentioned
good.
in the
We want
pyramid.
to connect
So
Notion
you have
lovers in
stuff like the
Australia
guiding
and our time
principles are
zone
here,
neighbors.
the
We know that all of
insight,
the great
the
events might
pillars,
currently happening in the
pipelines,
States,
which have
and
the
that's not a
goals, the
really
goal
friendly
pipelines, which have
time
the
zone
goals,
for
and the
people. It might be 2
execution
a.m. or 3
pipelines,
a.m. when you
which
need to
have
jump
the
into an event. So we
we
want
have
to
the
bring
projects
that
as
to
well
here
as the
and to
tasks.
you.
So the alignment
So
zone
it's currently a
sort of
two-man team, but feel free to
shows
join
all the
us, reach us
information
after this
that are in
event,
that pyramid.
help us, or if you
And
have
it's
a
a
great
good place
topic
for
to
you to
talk
come back
about,
and realign yourself.
send us an email. Let us
Especially
know.
when
We're
you
happy
don't
to
have to
you.
do this once a year to realign yourself.
And
Whenever there's
before
like something major
we do
that happens and you feel that you
introduction
have to
for
change
both
the
of the
direction
speaker,
of your
I'll
life,
just
you can
a
come back
little
and do
introduction
this.
about me. So 3 things
And
about
what
me.
I have at
I'm
the
actually from
top,
Shanghai.
you might be
I'm
wondering,
from
is
China.
the two
English
important
is
people
actually
in
my
my
second
life,
language.
other than
I've
my
been
immediate
in
family,
Australia for 8
which is
years
cat
and 2 years
as
in
well as
Melbourne. Melbourne is a great city.
in order
I'm
of
an international.
priority,
I'm
which
an
means the cat
interaction
comes
designer
first.
at a studio called
Okay,
Today
so
in
jokes
Fitzroy,
aside, let's
Melbourne.
move
It's a
forward
great company. Check it out
into the
on my
projects
page.
because I said I'll
And
talk
I'm a
more about the
documentation
projects and then
I document my life
on
and
the
design extensively on
task.
Notion.
So I have the project
if you want to
set up
chat to
here
me on
in a
Twitter, on
gallery
email,
view.
or on anywhere,
Just
chat to me about
to make it
design,
nice.
take
You can see I
photos using your
haven't
phone,
added all
or study
the
abroad. I do help international
images,
students a little bit as
but
well.
that's the whole point of a gallery view. You want to see images that represent it. Okay, let's go into, okay, this one works. Okay. So this is a project, and I will go through, this is a project page, and I will go through certain properties for this table that I think others would find useful. So the first one is, of course, the status of the project. So it's really satisfying to check off when it's completed, except that I believe it's not completed yet. So it's in progress. And you can see the statuses are pretty self-explanatory. I do put the quarters so that I know which quarter that I plan to finish that particular project. And similar to August, I do put the, you can see those, what's this, less than, greater than, net scale sign to indicate like this is the quarter that is currently active. And the priorities, drop down. So this is all these priorities is useful when I have to sit and think like, you want to do so many things, right? You want to do so many projects, so many tasks. It's important to set priority levels for everything because you definitely can't finish everything. Okay, similar to Tim, I have a review date, not as comprehensive as yours. I really like that. I would think about implementing that. So thanks for sharing that. And here we have the actions that are linked to this project. Has been sanitized, so every project would link up to a goal outcome as well as a pillar. So you know why you're doing that project and for what. Okay, scrolling down to the progress bar, I had some friends who were quite excited about the progress bar. So basically, because goal and completed is numerical, because in order to do a progress bar, it has to be numerical. So what PPV suggests is that if it's a qualitative project with no quantitative outcome, then you put the number 20. And then as the project scales up or scales down, you adjust the completed field. If it has a numerical goal, for example, like I'm trying to get 50 Twitch followers, so then the goal would be 50. Okay, and what I particularly like is the actions remaining. So after say I have tagged 10 actions and finish 8, this rollout will count the number of actions that have not been checked, that are left. And therefore, I have 2 remaining actions. So that's when I looked at these 2 remaining actions, I was like, oh, so my completed is probably 18 and my goal is 20. So I still have a little bit more to do. Okay, and scrolling down. So every project, there's a why. Why am I doing this project? This pillars, DB, and goal outcomes would link to those relevant databases because I didn't link them in this page, so therefore they're empty right now. Thoughts is just a scratch pad for me to do list down some thoughts about this project. And at the bottom, we have a linked database in, which is the actions database, and it is filtered to only actions related to this project. And I have set it such that it shows all tasks done as well as not done, so that I feel a sense of accomplishment. You can have different views to set it differently as well. And at the bottom of the page, which is currently empty, sometimes I do tend to add pages, resources, notes, everything that are relevant to this project. So this is a central hub for everything in this project, similar to Tim's one as well. Okay, so that's done. Life lessons, that's funny. Okay, so the task is further down, but let me move into the action zone, which is solely meant for tasks. Okay, so because I'm in the action zone a lot, so I put a GIF of like a really, really cute unicorn with like rainbows and everything. So I like my databases, my workspace to be like fun and colorful, but you can't have too many colors, right? So what I do is that I have GIFs as icons, but only, you notice that only GIFs for the dashboards, and the rest of the pages don't have GIFs as the page icon. And I do pick GIFs that are GIFs that are not like flashing in your face, because then like at the side of my eye there is something flashing and it's really distracting, which you don't need that. Okay, so now into the action zones, which are different permutations or different views of the action database. So I'm going to go through the first 4, which is today, tomorrow, upcoming week, and waiting on. And then we'll jump to that big calendar at the bottom. Okay, so I planned my tasks the night before. So before I go to bed, I'll be like, okay, I'm going to do all these specific tasks the next day. So why I do that is so that the next morning when I wake up, I know the task I'm going to do. I don't sit there in the morning and be like, oh, what do I do now? You know, so that's been very helpful. And I'll show you later like why setting priorities for tasks is also very useful. So this linked database is filtered to show tasks for today. So if you hear any meowing, it's because my cat is coming in and out and aggressively meowing for attention, which I am not giving right now. Okay, demanding indeed. Okay, and below the action items is my daily tracking database. As mentioned just now, I do track certain data about myself. For example, wake at 5 a.m., daily meditation, whether I streamed. So these are things that I will quickly key in at the bottom here. Okay, next toggle. And what I really like about having all these toggles, initially I never used toggles. Like I thought they were not very nice, not very pretty. But I realized the usefulness is that you're able to see multiple views together, like one above, one below. Instead of, I used to open like 2 windows and then so I can see the information at the same time, but toggles has been so useful for me. Okay, and yeah, so as an explanatory, these are tasks that I would be doing the day after. And also self-explanatory tasks that are coming in the upcoming week. So why do I have these views? It's so that I can see how busy or not busy I'm going to be in the future. Usually, we all tend to have a lot of tasks, and it's just so easy to say yes, yes, yes to more work. So the important thing is to see what you have committed and then be like, okay, I have already committed enough things, I'm not going to take in anything else. And similar to Tim, I also have a waiting on. So currently it's empty because I'm not waiting on anything. I used to do project management. I mean, I did project management for like 8 years. And you know, it's so easy to just hand off a task to somebody and then then we both drop the ball because I don't follow up, I totally forget about it. So having an area or like tagging tasks with waiting and then coming back to check that, oh, I have this task that I'm waiting for somebody else to action on has been really, really useful. Okay, so down to the massive calendar at the bottom, which is what I really, really love. I used to have like a calendar because I did expeditions planning and then have a calendar and then all my tasks on it and then it just gets so messy. So having this calendar and being able to move stuff around has been so useful. So it's sorted by due date, D-O-D-A-T-E. So a due date is different from a due date, D-U-E date. I will answer Patrick's question later. Okay, so it's because usually we have a due date. So say a project is due on Friday, but I can't do the project, no, sorry, a task is due on Friday, but I can't be doing the task on Friday, that's too late. So I want to move it forward and do it earlier in the week. So with that, it makes sense to tag everything by due dates relative to their due dates. So that has been very useful for me. Let's go in. I'm going to jump into the details of a task, and then I'll jump out. So this is a task, and criteria. I'm just going to quickly say. So each task has a icon that represents the category that the task is in. So which is very useful. Like at a glance, I can see like, okay, I'm doing a bunch of like my work-related tasks. I'm doing a bunch of Notion-related tasks. Like that's been so useful. So and I set that up as a template, so that I don't have to keep adding icons. Okay, so this is related to my work. Similarly, I'll go through the important properties. So status, same as project, whether it's active or not active. Priority level as well. There are some additional priority levels. Immediate is when it's like urgent, like really urgent. Most things are not urgent. Nobody's gonna die if I don't do it. It's okay. Quick, I've had to think quite a bit when I put something in quick. When I say quick, it's not like 10 minutes quick. You know, it's like 2 minutes quick, and that's quick. Scheduled is say like I stream 6 days a week, so I put that, no, don't put that, I put as remember. So schedule is like if I have any meetings, and I'll put it as schedule. And all the different priority levels. Errands, is there any errands? And remember is what I use for recurring tasks. So I'll show you recurring tasks later in the calendar. And due date, which is what I mentioned earlier. Now, right now, the following and next inline tasks are blank, but I'll explain it so that if anybody is thinking of using this, this might give you some ideas. So what does following and next in line mean? It refers to, imagine tasks 1, 2, and 3. So right now we're looking at task 2. So task 1 would be in the following. So you have to manually tag this, okay? So you have to think like which is going to be first, second, third, and so on and so forth. So you would tag 1 into following, 2, we're looking at 2, and next in line would be 3. So with that, with every task, you can see like, okay, what's the next task, what's the next task, what's the next task. So that's useful, although I haven't used it that extensively yet. Okay, and also similarly to projects, every task that you're doing should be in service of a project, a pillar, and a goal outcome, because so that you can work towards your North Star. Okay, and that's that. Okay, so back into the calendar, and which is where we'll end off. So in the calendar, you can see that I can look at the calendar and check done off. I can see all the priority levels of all items that are happening. Now this is very important so that I can see that, okay, I only have 1 first priority, 1 second priority, and so on and so forth. I cannot have multiple first priority items because it's unlikely that I'm going to finish all of them. So I'm forced to think like what is really a top priority or not. Chores and things that are done daily go into remember, and these are recurring tasks as well as streaming. Now, for recurring tasks, after I'm done with them, I don't check it off. I will drag them down to the next time that is supposed to happen, that is supposed to be done. So yes, I think that's that. Thanks, everybody.
That's a nice trick. Just moving the data blocks around in calendar. And I think Tim has also showed us that he can move tasks just between kind of a Kanban view as well. Cool. I'd like to ask you a couple of questions, but my window is actually free. So the reason Tim jumped out was he's trying to see if he can get a more refreshed version of the comment section.
Yep.
Let's see. Any limitations on the total number of table items or rows?
Yeah.
Not that I know of. No, right?
So I think we've answered that question also in the Ask a Question section.
Oh, sorry.
I think all of us haven't experienced that breakpoint yet. And I've shared a Reddit thread link there, and people talk about the extensive use of the rows. So I think Notion at this point is pretty powerful in accommodating as many data as possible. There's definitely a limit, mathematically speaking. I don't think we have explored it yet.
Yeah, I think it's because of the way they display it. You know, you only ever see like, I don't know, is it 20 rows or something at a time? And then you have to basically ask it to give you the next 20 and the next 20. So Yeah, but like I said, I put 10,000 rows into a table and it just kept taking them. So I don't know. Maybe there's not. Nina asked, you say you work with due dates. Do you have due dates overview somewhere?
Yes. So I'm just pulling up. You can see there's a due date here. If there's a hard deadline, for example, prepping for this talk, there's a due date, it will be there as well.
And is there a view that is like an overview of them?
Due dates overview, because due dates are not important for me, so I don't have an overview, but it's definitely possible to create, like creating another view here. Yeah.
Do you use the reminder feature? You know how you can, when you add a date to something, you can to slap you around if you miss it?
No, because when you schedule a task in advance, you know what it's going to do. I don't need another notification popping up, but it's dependent on you. Yeah.
I use it for something that I just can't miss, like if I'm running payroll, you know, and there's a whole bunch of people who aren't going to get paid if I miss it. I won't miss it because it's in my list and I'll look, but I just put a little trigger in there anyway. If it gets to 3 o'clock in the afternoon, something pops up and says, hey, you got to do this. But more as a risk management tool than a, you know, like an actual reminder.
Yeah.
But I use that feature for clients quite a lot. You know, like I got lawyers and they have a system where they have to apply for aid, you know, like legal aid within a certain period of time. And so like when a new matter starts, we automatically put a task in and it's like due in 2 weeks' time and it reminds us in a week's time. It's helpful because the color changes and all of a sudden it's a lot more visible. So there's good use cases for it. Cool trick with the recurring tasks. Oh yeah. Oh, I missed that.
I can share the GIF icons, but it's just in Jiffy, and okay, I will drop it in the resources link shared by Lemon.
The recurring
I'm more
interesting one.
Sorry.
I'm sorry, Lennon, go.
Sorry, Ray, I'm just more interested in why pick GIF and or GIF. No political issue there. Like, does it help you visually or kind of elevating things for you, or it's aesthetically speaking, you just like them?
It's so cute. And you notice I pick all the like cute ones. Like, it's a unicorn. Come on. Makes me happy in the morning.
That's fair. That's fair.
Nice. Maybe I need more unicorns, you know?
Then your kids will think you're very cool.
Yeah, my 5-year-old twin girls, if I had unicorns, I'd never get anything done. They just want to be in here playing with the unicorn all day. I was going to say about recurring tasks. It's often one of those things with task management and Notion that people ask about. And there are a few great little hack workarounds that people have put together. But I found that I just like make the new task, make the same task due at the future time. So at the moment, I'm doing a course every day. Or, you know, or say with the payroll example, it gets to it. The next payroll is in 2 weeks. Once I do the task, instead of marking it as done, I just change the due date to 2 weeks forward and it's done. So I haven't actually found a need for like, you know, a recurring task because, you know, you want to touch it after you've done it anyway. So you might as well set the date to the next time.
I think, yeah, that's cool. I just kind of want to thank you both guys because I've definitely learned something today. And I think one common theme that regardless of you use PPV or TPD is really have a core value or a goal you're trying to achieve, and then use that to kind of as your core or as your guiding star. Oh, there's cat. Nice.
I know.
That's nice.
You're feeding that cat though, right? Very demanding.
He's massive. He's like 5 kg.
That's
Big
good.
boy.
And I think just wondering if anyone has any more questions, maybe pop it in to ask a question. And we would really like you to maybe suggest a topic as what Richard just did there. He's really interested in using it as a writing tool. I'm personally invested in using it as a design documentation tool. I think Tim used it to run log consultancy, and then Ray used it to kind of power people to do more productive works and run workshops and stuff. Like, what would you be interested in to see in this platform? We exploring or inviting people to leave a question there, leave a comment for us.
Someone did ask if we were using automated third-party backup systems. So I haven't gone down that road yet, but I do periodically like dump everything out, but it's like gigabytes and gigabytes. So, I just click the export workspace button, and then they send me a link, and, I download it, and it replaces the last one. But I think once the API comes out, which I know they're working hard on trying to get it exactly right before they ship it, once that comes out, then I think things like backups and a whole bunch of other stuff is going to get a lot easier. Do you guys use a automated backup?
I haven't really backed it up. Now I'm a little bit scared.
Yeah,
we go back and do it.
Yeah, I've had some experience where Notion's gone and got things for me that I accidentally deleted, ages ago, and I wrote to them and said, I'm sorry that I lost this thing. Can you find it for me? And they do, which is pretty impressive. They do per minute backups, so I think it's hard to actually lose stuff. But yeah, if the sky falls and you really need your stuff, I think having another personal backup always makes good sense.
And I heard a story that Notion will actually keep things for you for another month if you do delete everything, like delete your workspace. Yeah, so you can email them, and they will hopefully get back to you and help you restore it if you did that accidentally.
Yeah, nice. That's great. Yeah, they're pretty invested in making sure that stuff works for us. Oh, wow. Ben just said he accidentally deleted everything and they retrieved it.
Oh my God. Solid.
Yeah. Well, great. I'm glad it was helpful. Thanks for that feedback. It's really good. Awesome.
Cool. It might be a little bit hard for me to wrap up here because I can't see any more comments coming in.
All right.
Tim, can I hand it over to you?
Yeah, sure. No, people just said it was really helpful, and thanks, and expect more in the future. So it's great. Yeah, and maybe for those of us in Australia, one day we'll get to meet up in person again, socially distanced. Nice. Cool. All right. Lennon, if people want to get in touch with us post this, will we put something in that Notion Australia page?
Yep. I think one of the concepts Tim and I talk about is we don't just want to be another Slack group or Discord group or whatever group that is. We'd like to live in all of these different community for you. So tag us, tag Lennon or tag Tim if you have any question. We're on Twitter. We're in those communities, and we're both pros have contacts with Notion as well. So find us individually, and thank you for signing up again. We now have your email address. You do have ability to unsubscribe it. I've made that visible. But when we organize the next event, we'll definitely notify you and keep new ideas coming to us. We'll welcome any thoughts you have, any events you want us to kind of run.
Yeah, that's really helpful. Dan was just saying it would be great to see a basic overview of the structure of our workspaces before digging into the nitty-gritty. I think that's right. Sometimes, it was hard to think about how to talk about a whole thing, but knowing that you needed some context. So that's fair. That's helpful. Yes, no, it's good. Thank you. All right, host man, I think we're done.
Cool. We might just cap it here then. Thank you very much for everyone who joined us tonight, and for whoever's going to join later to see the recording. Most welcome. And we'll sure to notify you when we organize the next event, which hopefully will be very soon. And thank you again, Rui Qing, for joining us from Singapore.
Yeah, thanks, Ray.
Thanks, no worries. Bye.
Well, everybody have a
The one.
Cool. I'm going to click the end broadcast button.
Thanks, Lennon. Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
Thanks, Ellen. Bye. Thanks, Dave.
Thanks for watching. I hope you found it useful. Feel free to ask questions in the comments or reach out to me on Twitter. See you in the next video.